locked, so if you need to go to the facility, someone will hang the badge over by the door. Otherwise, once you get out, you can't get back in. I'm not even sure you can get out. So we'll just leave the badge right over there. So just go ahead.
Tell them the slushies too.
Oh, there are also slushies outside.
That's more important.
So I want to welcome everyone to the second meeting of 2012 for DNewTech. Pleased to have a new facility. Is this place awesome or what? I don't know how Tom finds these places or how he convinces people to give them to us for free, but he's very convincing. So watch your wallets, whatever you do. I think everyone knows the format. I'll introduce the sponsors just real quickly. We'll have our keynote speaker. Then tonight we have 4 entrepreneurs, each of whom will speak for 5 minutes. We'll have 5 minutes of question and answers after each of the entrepreneurs. Then we can sort of mix and mingle at the back. Our sponsors make all this possible, so I want to thank, and you can see them flashing behind me, Detroit Economic Growth Corporation, DNewTech, Quicken Loans, who was the owner of this great new facility, Blue Water Angels, H&T Medical Solutions, Tex Ripple, and of course TechTown, where a number of us have our original homes. I'd like to introduce our first speaker then, Diane Durance. As Diane is coming up, I think she's going to talk about Startup America, Startup Michigan, but I tend to call her mom. And the reason I do that, she is the mother of my company. She doesn't acknowledge that, but I did GLEQ, very first time. Didn't win anything, but it was that business plan for GLEQ that led me to want to accelerate Michigan, which I've been fortunate enough to do well in twice. So Diane really is the mom behind my business, so I thank her every time I see her. So Dan, come on up, and Tom, if you want to go ahead and get started here.
Hello, everyone. As Milton said, I'm Diane Durance. I'm Executive Director of Great Lakes Entrepreneurs Quest. And we are, I'm going to do a little ad for GLEQ here before we get on to the Startup America Partnership. GLEQ is starting another round of the competition right now. You can register online at gleq.org, and registration goes until the end of March or thereabouts. In fact, I have postcards right here with the schedule. But you do not have to have a business plan ready when you register. We will match you with a business coach, someone either in your field or in your area of the state, and they will work with you and help you as you're developing your business plan or executive summary. We are very happy to announce that we will have the Smart Zone Award again this year. Our awards are going to be presented on June 12th. On campus at MSU in Lansing. This will be our 5th or 6th year doing it in Lansing in June. But the Smart Zone Award is a $100,000 award. It is a convertible debt award, and it is exactly like a Michigan Pre-Seed Capital Fund investment. In fact, that's where the money comes from. But the difference is if you win the $100,000 award, you do not have to come up with a match. As many of you may know, if you try to get a Michigan Pre-Seed Capital Fund investment, you do have to have a match of 100% match. So if you were to try to get $100,000, you'd have to have an outside investor that was also investing $100,000. But you can just win the award through GLEQ, and since the maximum you can get from the Michigan Pre-Seed Capital Fund is $250,000, even if you win the $100,000, you can still get another $150,000. So it's a really nice program. It's the 3rd year the Smart Zones have presented that through GLEQ. We also have cash awards, and we have some industry-specific awards. We have the Advanced Manufacturing Award. We have an award that is $10,000 for anybody that is in food safety, food security, food production, water quality, anything related to things that are consumed by human beings that we want to have be safe and of high quality. So that's a new award, and it's presented by the Global Food Protection Institute out of Battle Creek, Michigan. And they also have a fund where they can invest up to $50,000 in your business. So that is not a category that I expect is going to have hundreds of business plans. So there's a good chance of winning if you have a plan that's in that category, and a very good chance of getting in front of the Global Food Protection Institute and maybe getting an additional investment from them. So I do encourage you to participate in GLEQ. It's a great way to make connections and to get your business idea in front of investors. All the business plans that are presented are read by 4 venture investors so that you at least get some feedback and so forth. Plus, it's a great time to come out to Lansing on June 12th and meet up with everybody else that's trying to get investors for their business. In addition to GLEQ, I wear a couple other hats.
Switch gears.
Yes.
Just one question for you. About how many companies are entered every year in GLEQ?
Well, we run the 2 rounds a year, and typically there's about 250 companies that do enter GLEQ. There are 2 categories primarily. There's the new business idea category, which is for someone who is kind of in the concept stage and really still investigating the potential of their business idea. Then we have emerging company for those that are a little more established and are ready to launch or have launched their business. And then with this round, with the Smart Zone Award, it is its own category because the deliverables are much more extensive. You have to have a complete business plan, you have to have a separate financial projections document, and then you need a letter of support from a Smart Zone. And if you're not familiar with the Smart Zones, Tech Town is one, very close by, one of the sponsors. So that is a place where you can stop and find out more and find out if they could potentially be your sponsor in the competition. Automation Alley is another one that's very close by. The OU Incubator is a Smart Zone, and Ann Arbor Spark are the ones that are in this area. But across the state we have 15 or 17 now Smart Zones. And you can just Google Michigan Smart Zones, and it comes right up with all the contact information. So if you're from some other part of the state, you can find a Smart Zone close to you. So now I can take off that hat, and now that you know about GLEQ, and I'll put on another hat, which is GLEQ is the host organization for an initiative called Startup Michigan. And Startup Michigan is our affiliate to the Startup America Partnership. And this partnership was launched out of the White House a year ago on January 31st. And their concept is to help connect entrepreneurs with resources on a national level. So they are going around and they are getting large corporations to put up packages of goods and services for technology entrepreneurs. At the same time, they're starting up all these different states, like Startup Michigan, where we will all be connecting to each other and to the companies that are in our states. So, for example, if you're an IT company and you want to connect with Texas Instruments in Richardson, Texas, there's a Startup Texas representative that you will be able to contact who will help make that introduction for you. There's also some other very cool things that are happening through those connections, and I have a little video, and I hope you'll enjoy watching that, because that will save you from having to try to get it from what I'm saying, because of course they've spent a lot of time and energy on making their message clear. So this video is about Startup America, and it was played at ACE last week. ACE was the annual collaboration for entrepreneurship in Ann Arbor, and that's where we launched Startup Michigan. And so forgive me if you were there and you're having to see this again, but it really is pretty interesting. And then I can tell you a little bit more about what we're doing to connect Startup Michigan to the national initiative.
Ready?
Right now, 15 states are working with accidents, startup, without all customers. Okay, here it goes. From Partners Base Foundation, also help launch something called the Startup America Partnership to connect these entrepreneurs with private companies and give them the resources they need, from mentorship opportunities to leads on potential customers. In March, I jumped right into the CEO Startup America Partnership and did some speaking engagements at the brand and went on to South by Southwest. And we started to really test some very cool ideas about how the Startup America Partnership is going to help America's entrepreneurs. The first idea is to bring partners together to provide specific resources to help startups grow. The second core idea was partnering with leading entrepreneurs in regions across the country to work to help strengthen their ecosystem. And finally, how can we celebrate the amazing startups from all across the country and help them raise their visibility and ultimately raise their name? We began with our partners and started to think, okay, what kind of partnerships do we want to bring? We identified 5 key areas we felt every startup would benefit from: expertise, support services, talent, customers, and capital. And in April, we announced our first round of partnerships with companies like American Express, Microsoft, Intuit, Ernst & Young, and Intel. And together, they collected over $400 million in kind resources that can help American startups grow. We then were approached by the amazing people in the state of Illinois, including Governor Quinn, Brad Keywell, and Kevin Owen, and launched Startup. Quickly followed by the leadership of Michael Burchin and Governor Haslam in the state of Tennessee, the Startup Tennessee launch, and laid the groundwork for many other states, many of the ones that are watching this video right now. Finally, we began to tell startup stories in venues like TiCon, where we told the stories of great companies like Dropbox and many others, and began to broadcast those out so people could see what were some of the great startups that were happening. In fact, we partnered with many accelerators around the country to bring 4 amazing startups to the first ever CGI America. And one of those startups got to stand up in front of 1,000 people and pitch President Clinton on their great idea. This past summer, we were honored to announce our All Entrepreneur Board. They have these amazing startup professionals who've had great success. Awesome entrepreneurs like Tory Burch, Nina Baca, David Jurek, Michael Dell, Kevin Plank, Reed Hastings, Reed Hoffman, Fred Smith, Raul Fernandez, Magic Johnson, and Pamela Contact. We also announced our first 4 major corporate sponsors: American Express Open, Dell, Microsoft, and Intuit, all stepped up to help Startup America expand our work and raise our game even higher. We're incredibly grateful for their support. In September, we partnered with Microsoft and Startup Weekend to be the first ever mega startup weekend. 300 entrepreneurs got together, created 30 teams, created companies in just 2 days. 3 of those companies, one from each track of education, healthcare, and games, got to participate in Demo Fall, where they got to pitch investors. And one of them got a chance at the demo stage to pitch over 400 investors on their newly formed company, only days old. We also launched our platform. The first time we were able to connect startups with the amazing partners we had already connected. And finally, we pitched and launched our next round of partners. $330 million in resources from LeadMaster, Dell, and Dun & Bradstreet. We then went on and saw some amazing new startup regions get launched. Startup Connecticut, led by Danny Breer, and Startup Massachusetts under the leadership of Corey Volotsky. The launch of Startup Connecticut and Startup Massachusetts really set the stage for 4 more states to join the Startup America Partnership. First was Startup Colorado, led by Brad Feld and many great entrepreneurs in the state of Colorado. We then saw Startup Florida launch with Susan Amata leading the way at Launchpad at the University of Miami. Next, we saw Startup Texas launch under the great leadership of John Price. And finally, Chris Renaud kicked things off at Startup Iowa launch in Des Moines. It's been amazing to see these startups and come together under the leadership of some fantastic serial entrepreneurs all across the country. We also created a new kind of partnership with General Electric, where we launched a great program called Startup Corporate Connections. The idea behind the program is to connect America's largest companies with America's fastest growing startups to help those startups grow and get access to new markets, new knowledge, and ultimately potentially customers. Last December, we had a fantastic board meeting at the White House. It's the first time our board members have gotten together in person. We met with the president, we met with leading cabinet officials, including those from the Small Business Administration, as well as Commerce, where we talked about the importance of startups and the startup economy. We also announced that we've crossed the $1.2 billion mark in in-kind resources. We announced new partnerships with Emma, NetSuite, and many others that have helped us grow and create even more resources for American startups. We kicked 2012 off with a real bang at the Consumer Electronics Show, where we brought 4 great startups to be part of CES's inaugural Eureka Park. They were able to profile their businesses and get all kinds of access to great contacts, and we're going to continue that partnership into the next year. We also began to connect our startups with great experts in the field. We started with pitch coaching by the great Anthony Gold, and he's been helping startups find their pitch and get their stories in. We're also connecting great VCs. We've done a VC roundtable every week where startups can ask questions about capital formation. As we go into 2012, we're going to continue to expand those programs and connect more startups with more experts to help them across all the things that they need help them get. Our mantra at the Startup America Partnership is simple. Startups plus growth is a strong startup economy, ultimately leads to jobs and a greater future for all of us. As we look to 2012, we're going to focus our energy bringing new partnerships, helping you and the regions grow and become stronger, and to help tell the stories of America's great startups. To that end, we've got things planned, including South by Southwest, bringing together our startup leaders in February in Miami to learn from each other. And ultimately, my hope is to get to know all the folks in our new startup regions, including DC, Hawaii, Kansas, Michigan, Missouri, Nebraska, Rhode Island, Virginia, and Vermont. I hope to get out there and meet all of you and to learn more about the amazing things that you're doing. As I said, startups are at the center of everything we do at Startup America. We're focused on making them the heroes that they are, and every startup in the room really deserves a lot of credit. In fact, if you're a startup or starting a company, I want you to stand up right now, especially you guys in the back. Stand up. For everybody else in the room, let's give them a round of applause. They are the heroes of our economy, and let's celebrate them. Together, we can start up America.
Okay, hopefully you could hear that. I know it was a little difficult to hear what they're talking about. But let me tell you where we're at with Startup Michigan. Because we had the opportunity last week to launch Startup Michigan at a big event, and we had Scott Case come in town, and he spent 2 days with us and met a lot of people in Ann Arbor and at the event. We kind of put the cart in front of the horse, because you might go, well, what is Startup Michigan and what are we doing? Well, that's actually up to you. We are looking for entrepreneurs that want to help form the advisory group that is going to figure out what Startup Michigan is really going to do. We know we want to connect with the larger Startup America Partnership. We know we want to be part of the efforts that they have going. But we also know that in Michigan we have a lot of resources, we have a lot of connections, we have a lot of networking groups and so forth. So it's going to take some brainstorming to come up with how do we take what we have in Michigan and make use of what Startup America is trying to do and make it work for you as entrepreneurs. Some of the ideas that we have that we are wanting to pull together are things like getting sponsors that will send groups of entrepreneurs to South by Southwest. We want to get Amtrak to agree to take a train load of Michigan entrepreneurs to Chicago so we can meet with Chicago entrepreneurs and Chicago companies that are willing to investigate the opportunities to work with startups. We want to connect with Ohio and Cleveland, and really what we're trying to do is broaden your reach. So as entrepreneurs, you're not constrained by the services that are available in Michigan, that there are connections, there's an interstate highway system that gets you out to other people that you need to meet. Because what we've heard from time and time again is that you're getting help here in Michigan, but you need to meet somebody in California or in Texas or in Massachusetts or whatever, and we just really don't have a lot of good connections to help you do that. And we think by participating with Startup America Partnership that those avenues will be opened up and will be available to you. So if you're interested, one thing you can do right away is you can actually join Startup America Partnership, and there's flyers here that look like this. And you just go online and you sign up. And then all these big corporations that they showed up there, Dell and IBM and everybody, you can see what they're offering. There's now, I think, something like 100 different national corporations that are offering discounts or free services or packages of support, different things. So definitely take a look at that. You can also get online with Startup Michigan, which we have these postcards for this, Startup Michigan, and you can sign up for Startup Michigan. But I hope that if you're interested in helping form this and grow this and help Michigan be part of what can be a huge national movement, I hope that you'll send me an email, my business card here, Diane@GLEQ.org, and let me know that you're interested, because we're really going to be convening a group to do some serious brainstorming to really try to figure out what we want Startup Michigan to look like. All of this is very much a grassroots effort. It's an initiative. It's not another organization. It's not another government-sponsored program. In fact, there is no money coming into Startup Michigan. This is actually all of us thinking about what do we need, and then I will take that message to the best of my ability to our sponsors and corporations in Michigan and see if we can get the funding and support to make it happen. So please do investigate this and take a look at it and send me an email if you're interested in helping out. Yes?
Can I add something to it? I was privileged to be part of when they start out these meetings for Startup America. I can tell you, you can go to these smart zones, including Tech Town. You're going to get a lot of coaching, you get a lot of mentoring, you also get an opportunity to find different funding. One thing that Startup America or Startup Michigan has, I think that's going to help us out mostly, is that for small companies like us, I mean, depending on the state you are, you're looking for big companies who would trust in your business. I think this is where Startup Michigan will help, or even Startup America, because they're connecting you with larger companies that you wouldn't have the opportunity to do. So just consider that, register, and you never know who's going to be looking at your proposal.
Thank you.
Diane can stay around for a few more minutes if you have any questions. Ferris?
And so the first step is to email you or to register or do both?
Well, it depends on what your interests are. I would say definitely register with Startup America Partnership. Go ahead and do that, because you might as well see what free stuff is out there right now and what kind of connections are available. Another really big component of what they're doing is helping you get your story out. So if you join Startup America Partnership and you do a blog, or you send them some pictures and snippets on what you are doing, they will post those nationwide. So it can give you some additional exposure. They want to hear the success stories, they want to hear what you're doing, what you're trying to do, and that's one of the big components. So I would say definitely take a look at Startup America's website, sign up for Startup Michigan. Even if you sign up for Startup America Partnership, they tell us who from Michigan is in their database, so we'll be able to reach you that way. But if you're interested in really helping figure out how can we use this platform to benefit Michigan entrepreneurs, and you have strong opinions on what you could use and what would be useful, then send me an email, because really we want to put together a group of people that really want to make this happen and really want to connect beyond the borders of Michigan. Any other questions? Well, thank you for your patience in hearing about this, and I hope that I will be able to help you in some way with GLEQ or with Startup Michigan.
Thank you. If we can go ahead and have Dara come on up. while we're waiting for the mechanical part of this to happen, it's always a little slow, Dara's going to come on up in just another minute. She just graduated from the BizDNU Idea Generator program. Nobody here from BizDNU tonight, but Quicken Loans, supporter of BizDNU, so it's all still in the family here. Dara said she's also an off-Broadway playwright located here in Detroit, Detroit native. She's a lifelong entrepreneur, and she has a very interesting story to tell us once the electrons start to cooperate.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to be here at DNewTech. I've been here many times before. Great to see such a full crowd tonight. So my business is writingbowl.com, and it's creative writing software that's online to help kids foster a healthy sense of self-expression, improve their communication skills, and their confidence. So I want to show you a really quick video, and we'll get right into it. She's a busy mom with a zillion things on her plate. Make that a zillion and one. But lately, she's worried about her son, Blake. He's a good kid, but she feels technology has taken over his life. She wonders what happened to his imagination and creativity. One day, Angie came across writingbowl.com. She liked the idea of Blake learning with creative writing lessons online. Blake liked writingbowl.com